This drug can save a life if it's in the right hands. The push to prevent prescription drug overdoses from becoming deadly next.
The cost of college is going up, and we'll show you the impact on students here in North Carolina.
And farming in the city, something you don't see every day. We'll meet some young gardeners who made a way coming up. We start with the push to save lives across the state. Thank you for joining us. I'm Aaron Thomas.
And I'm Sienna Acevedo. More than 2/3 of overdose deaths in North Carolina each year are caused by prescription drugs. That's more than alcohol, heroin, and cocaine combined. Alexis Simmons joins us live from the state legislative building to share how an overdose changed one mother's life.
Now, 30 seconds is not much time, but that's about how long some lobbyists get to make their pitch to lawmakers right here. I spoke with one lobbyist who told me she is here almost every single day, and she is fighting for legislation that would help prevent deaths caused by drug overdoses in North Carolina. Now, I've been talking to you for about 20 seconds, and lobbyists are trying to make every second count.
And she called me screaming.
It's a call no mother wants to receive.
Jason's gone, Jason's gone.
Tanya Skinner lost her 26-year-old son to Oxycontin, a drug prescribed for his broken hand. It turned into something he got off the street.
He said, Mom, I can't do this anymore. I don't like this. It's not fun anymore. I need some help.
Doctors put Jason on a wait list for the treatment program, and by the time they had openings, that help was too late. North Carolina is pushing for overdose prevention, so this won't happen.
There's also an instructions pamphlet.
Tessie Castillo is the coordinator of the North Carolina Harm Reduction Coalition. She says it's saving lives because of this drug, naloxone.
This is 1 dose each.
This liquid reverses an opiate overdose. Because of 911 Good Samaritan laws passed in 2013, some drug users can receive immunity from prosecution when they call for help. It makes people more comfortable about dialing in, but there's still some pushback.
Kind of along the lines of, well, why should we help people who use drugs?
In 2013, North Carolina had the 30th highest rate of prescription drug overdoses. It also had more than 1,000 deaths caused by prescription drugs.
In the course of 2 years, the coalition has provided free naloxone to people in the state. As of right now, they have reported 379 overdose reversals.
I don't think there's really any way to make a difference more directly than to get calls and texts on almost a daily basis from someone saying, thank you, you saved my life.
Saving lives. It's what Skinner is doing through her story.
And let them know that they're worth something, that you want to help them. And there is help out there to get.
And she doesn't want anyone to go through what she does every day.
You put a smile on your face, but there's a hole in your heart that nothing can replace.
Now, this might surprise you, but there are more deaths caused by drug overdoses in the United States than car wrecks. Now, Skinner is trying to change just that. Back to you.
Alexis Simmons live in Raleigh. Thank you, Alexis.
President Obama announced a new effort to further improve benefits to veterans. The president visited VA Medical Center in Phoenix, Arizona, where the scandal over delayed care for veterans began. Starting on March 24th, the Department of Veteran Affairs is streamlining how vets make follow-up benefit claims and appeals, requiring a standard form for the first time. But the president is forming a new committee to focus on more reforms. Camp Lejeune has released the names of the 7 Marines killed when their Black Hawk helicopter crashed off the coast of Florida's Panhandle. Governor McCrory ordered flags at half-staff through the weekend to honor their memories. On Friday, pieces of the shattered helicopter, including the rotor and the fuselage, were pulled out of the water and placed on a barge. The commander of the Marines Corps Special Operations Forces says the troops were flying offshore to practice rappelling down ropes into the water.
4 new flu deaths were reported in North Carolina. The state just released updated numbers. A total of 189 flu-related deaths have been reported this season in the state. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says flu activity in the U.S. is still elevated, but it is declining. Wake County students will be spending more time in class next week instead of going on spring break. Traditional calendar students will make up snow days on the first 3 days of spring break. But some teachers and students already had spring break plans. One principal tells us 5 of his teachers will miss at least one of the days. Substitutes will fill the gaps. It's yet to be seen how many students will be absent.
Students in the UNC will pay more for an education. The UNC Board of Governors voted to raise tuition and fees. Campuses across the state requested increases amounting to an average of about 4%. Students at private schools are seeing this hikes as well. Rachel Scott is live on the NC State campus, where students say this could be a challenge to their finances.
Yes, Aaron, getting accepted used to be the most difficult part about getting into college. Now students say it's even harder to figure out how to pay for it. Students at North Carolina's universities are facing a growing challenge. It has little to do with exams, papers, or finals, because it's not attending college that's the issue. It's paying for it.
Every year that I've been at North Carolina State University, my tuition has gone up.
In the fall, students at North Carolina's public universities will see tuition fees rise again. On average, students will have to fork out an extra $266 and another $241 the following year. The Board of Governors says the system needs the money to increase faculty salaries to keep other universities from picking off the state's top teaching talent. Jasmine Childs is a senior at North Carolina State. She says the hikes have left her wallet and dinner table empty.
Tuition is so costly.
There's a lot. There's some days I actually may not eat.
It's a hard thing to
manage.
manage.
It's definitely.
Not everyone is feeling the pinch. Scholarship students such as Isaac Earnhardt at UNC Chapel Hill says you get what you pay for.
The quality of the education, I would say, probably offsets the cost that you're paying.
With the tuition increase, public universities like UNC Chapel Hill are only about $300 cheaper than private schools like Shaw University. Students tell me it doesn't matter where you go, college is simply too expensive.
You need to find some type of income to come to you, so that way you won't be in no struggle while you're trying to graduate.
Darian Brown, a senior at Shaw University, had to sleep in his car for a couple of weeks because he couldn't afford to pay both his medical bills and his rent.
I would say it was the biggest struggle of my life. As I was sitting in the car at night, I would think to myself, I'm never doing this again. I'm never going to be in this situation again.
For now, students can only hope that others down the line can focus on school rather than the cost. Universities in the North Carolina system have seen a 50% tuition increase since 2007. Many students hope that levels off soon. Back to you.
Rachel Scott, live in Raleigh. Thank you for that report. The class of 2015 will be the last class for Sweetbriar College in Virginia. 2 weeks ago, the college's board of directors voted to shut its doors at the end of the academic year. The board says its financial situation made it tough to honor obligations to students, faculty, and staff. The small liberal arts school plans to help students transfer to other institutions. Doors will officially close on August 25th.
When you hear of hunger, what comes to mind? Many don't realize hunger happens right here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hundreds of Raleigh students are going home on Friday, not knowing if they'll eat again until Monday morning. Now, coming up, I'll tell you about one organization who's feeding Wake County students on the weekends.
And we'll explain why North Carolina ranks first in ways to save you money and energy. Many of us can barely make it to lunchtime without our stomachs rumbling.
A new report shows that thousands of Wake County kids go whole weekends without a meal. Rochelle Aline joins us live now to explain. Rochelle?
Right, the Raleigh City Farm produces hundreds of pounds of food just like this, and it still doesn't even put a dent into the problem. In fact, according to Feeding America, there's about 10,000 kids in Wake County alone who are hungry. And while the need is increasing, there is one local organization who's stepping up to end childhood hunger, one bag of food at a time. Bag after bag and trip after trip.
Thank you, Joe.
The workers at Raleigh's Interfaith Food Shuttle are preparing for a big delivery. Today's load is going to feed Raleigh's youngest learners.
What would you like, baby?
According to Wake County schools, about half of the county students rely on the free and reduced lunch program.
Oops.
And many of them go hungry on the weekends.
I think people think of hunger, they think of, Africa, Southeast Asia, or Latin America. They don't think in the triangle, in their own community.
It's why the Interfaith Food Shuttle started its Backpack Buddies program. Hundreds of bags like these are packed with nutritious foods, and then they're sent off to students in need of a little bit of hope. In the past year alone, it's fed about 2,000 kids with more than 68,000 packed bags. So, off the food goes. Today, the first stop is Hope Elementary School. Workers sort the bags and then put them in the care of Hope's resident elves, Tanaya and Akila. For many of Hope's kids, Fridays are like Christmas morning. They scramble to claim their present, bags of food to tide them over for the weekend. For the girls, today's delivery is just all in a day's work.
What's your favorite part, would you say?
Bringing the food to the children.
My favorite part is sending them to classrooms and seeing how so excited they are to get their food.
Food that Hope Elementary School teacher Brittany Williamson saw the kids needed.
As a teacher, you go home and you have food on the weekend. So to see a child who doesn't have, it's sad.
So she started the school's partnership with the Backpack Buddies program in January. Tonight, 72 of the school's 116 kids will go home with one less worry, as they look forward to next Friday when Christmas comes again. Now, once the school year ends, Hope Elementary will be in need once again. It's a charter school, which means administrators had to sponsor the partnership on their own. So once classes end, so will that funding. Back to you.
Rochelle Aline, live in Raleigh, thank you. More drinking water will be coming from Jordan Lake. Cary, Apex, Morrisville, and the Wake County portion of RTP will now take 33 million gallons of water a day from the lake. This is a 38% increase from the 24 million gallons they already get. The communities had asked for the increase earlier this year, saying the water is needed to support their booming populations.
Some farms in North Carolina are growing a new crop, and that is called solar power. You're looking at a live shot right now of one of 150 solar farms that are already up and running in the state. Nearly 400 more are in the works. AJ Nwoko joins us live from Raleigh with a look at an industry with a growing future.
That's right, 5 days until spring, and that means more sun. And for North Carolina, it also means a boost in the solar industry. On a typical day in downtown Raleigh, you'll hear the usual honking of cars as they pass, as the city lights remind us to stop, to go, to refuel. A brighter light in the sky is doing the same thing, just making a lot less noise. And these big mirror-like surfaces are turning that silence into energy. NC Solar Now's Gregory Olinar says solar energy just makes sense.
I think it becomes sort of a no-brainer that if you're able to supplement and put in a system that's going to pay for itself in a relatively short period of time, that makes a lot of sense for people financially.
Appalachian State Professor Jack Martin says a little sun is just what we need.
All energy is derived from the sun. It heats the earth, it causes our weather, and winds and tidal and currents are all derivatives of solar power. So it's the power that we need.
These solar panels don't look like much. In fact, they pretty much just sit here. But they're doing a lot to fuel this state's solar industry.
Right now, we've seen a decline in panel prices, and it's been absolutely amazing. It's just been terrific. Our business has doubled in the last 12 months.
In the past 4 years, North Carolina has jumped from number 6 in solar energy production to number 2, right behind California. Even though North Carolina's energy industry is booming, Martin says we still have a long way to go.
Right now, about 1% of the energy, electrical energy that we have is from solar. It's nothing to sneeze at.
To any skeptics still hesitant to see the light, Olinar has this to say.
It's the one investment that's predictable. The sun rises every single day, and we know that it's going to pay off in the future.
And with that, you can bet North Carolina's solar energy future is bright. Solar energy capacity doubles every 9 to 10 months, and Martin told me that in a decade, around 25% of electrical power will come from solar. Back to you in the studio.
AJ Nwoko live in Raleigh.
Solar panel farms are not the only farming you'll see in the city.
Kind of teach leadership development through the responsibility of caring for a farm.
How traditional farming still teaches our youth today, coming up.
When thinking of farms, you wouldn't expect one to be located downtown.
Turns out there are farms in different parts of the triangle. Racine Williams is live at Raleigh City Farm to tell us how farmers help kids grow character while growing food.
Now, I know it's been cold here in North Carolina with a bit of snow, but it's finally starting to warm up. Spring is coming, and it's a perfect time to just get involved and kick back and smell the roses. Now, community gardens like the one I'm standing in now are actually a great way to do that. And if you have kids or you are a kid, even better, because they're also a great way to teach and learn. Take a look.
It's a gardening oasis in the middle of developing downtown Durham.
We just put a bunch of early spring vegetables into the ground: chard, cilantro, parsley.
For Leslie Simmons, it's part of a vision.
What we want is to be a space for people to have access to healthy green spaces and food, and get to know the earth.
This green space is called Seeds. They offer programs to help people get their hands dirty.
Durhamites, if you're from here, you have a history in agriculture. It's just the reality of this area, and the younger generations are probably not getting that experience.
This urban sanctuary is planting more than just produce. They're developing future leaders, passionate people, and students of the soil.
Seeds offers a special paid program that helps inner city teens use gardening to fight social inequality.
These are some pictures from the summer.
It's called Digs.
The Durham inner city gardeners are amazing young people. They are enthusiastic and invested and passionate and goofy, and sometimes we break into dance parties in the middle of the garden.
I think it's so important.
Whitney Brown works at Seeds. Ironically, she has the job of building walls in a garden dedicated to breaking down barriers. She believes in the mission of Digs.
And a pretty essential life skill, if you ask me.
My heart explodes with hope and just like, yes, young people care.
And they'll harvest that hope this summer, along with bushels of vegetables.
Now, when we were at Seeds, we actually got to taste some of the produce, including things I didn't know were even edible, like the daylily root. And don't worry, I've sent some back to the studio for you all. And don't forget, community gardens like this are open year-round for you to come and enjoy. Back to you.
And we'll definitely be looking forward to that tasty treat. Racine Williams, live in Raleigh.
The State Farmers Market is celebrating the start of spring. You can enjoy the Spring Craft Fair this weekend. And this is where local artisans and vendors will be on hand selling handcrafted products and items like woodwork, soaps, candles, and spring floral arrangements. The fair is the first of many special events held throughout the year at the farmers market.
A popular tourist attraction on the Outer Banks is getting a new paint job. After 10 years of harsh weather, Cape Lookout Lighthouse will be repainted. The park will remain open during the project. The project begins this week and should be finished by April, depending on the weather. Thank you for watching this special newscast produced by the fellows participating in the CBC-UNC Diversity Fellowship.
Have a great day.